Considered closed. Megyn.
Catherine, thank you. Joining us now in an exclusive primetime interview, Chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Jason Chaffetz, who earlier today sent this letter to Attorney General Loretta Lynch, ordering justice to preserve all new records in these ongoing investigations of Hillary Clinton. Great to see you, Congressman. So you expect that they will abide by that and make sure that the records are preserved, because they apparently haven't been by everyone on Hillary's team in the past.
Yeah, well, Bob Goodlatte's the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. I'm the chairman of the Oversight Committee. We put the Department of Justice on notice that they are to preserve all these documents that they may find in these other investigations. Now, a lot of this we've read about just in the media, but we put this in place as another step to make sure that no other records are destroyed, displaced, or done anything other than preserve them, because Congress, essentially the American people, are going to want to look at them at some point.
Because the FBI has its investigation, but you also have an investigation going into whether she misused her power as Secretary of State and perhaps jeopardized confidential documents or state secrets of some sort. You said something today that got some attention, saying that this is going to take, you've got 2 years worth of material all lined up if she becomes president. Does that mean, I mean, if she is elected, you're saying we're in for at least 2 years of investigations into her?
Well, look, no matter if she's elected or defeated, the Congress has a job to do, and that is to clean up the mess that Hillary Clinton made at the State Department. This is potentially one of the largest breaches of security in the history of the State Department. You had classified material that was migrating to a non-classified system. You have allegations of a quid pro quo discussion between the Undersecretary of Management, Patrick Kennedy, and FBI agents. I mean, I got a long list.
Do you guys investigate him? Because it's all focused on Hillary right now, but Patrick Kennedy, how is he going to be held to account?
Look, we're going to expose this. We're going to shine light on it. That's what we do in the United States of America. We're different than the rest of the world. We are self-critical, and I have a constitutional duty to be the tip of the spear, to be that check and balance on the executive branch. I'm not here to be a cheerleader for the president, and shame on those Democrats and the others who say, oh, we should just back off if she's elected. No, no matter what happens in this election, we're going to work to hold her accountable. She's the one that created this mess. What
about, I have to ask you about the fact that you say you're voting for Donald Trump. You said just earlier last month, October 8th, the day of the Access Hollywood tape breaking, I'm out. I can no longer endorse Donald Trump for president. And you talked about your 15-year-old daughter, saying you can't look her in the eye and tell her that you endorse this man when he acts like this. So, you know, I realize voting for him is different than an endorsement, but how are you going to look the same 15-year-old daughter you referenced and explain your vote?
Well, my wife and I did vote for Donald Trump last week. I think we're doing and going through a lot of the discussions that people all across this country are doing. I never, ever want to be able to say it's President Hillary Clinton, and that's the choice. There's only two people that have a chance of becoming the president. And if you don't vote for Donald Trump, you're essentially creating a window, an opportunity for Hillary Clinton to become the president. So it's tough. We are never going to support or endorse or condone any sort of action or verbs or words or anything about sexual harassment or belittling women. I don't want to ever be in that position, but we're with a choice right now.
Okay, but
Two people have the chance to become the president.
Let me play devil's advocate, because what his critics would say is past is prologue. And if he gets into the office, the most powerful office in the land, and does any of this stuff to any young women, that's on you if you voted for him. That's their argument.
Well, it's not like the Clintons have a clean record, Megyn. I mean, all you have to do is look what Bill Clinton did in the Oval Office and what he did with interns and all these other lines of women and what they were doing. So it's not as if you're comparing apples to oranges. I mean, it should never be acceptable, ever. And that's exactly what I talked about with my 15-year-old daughter and our son and our other daughter as well. But you have a choice. And if you look at the Supreme Court and you look at all the other issues that face this country, by far, it's Donald Trump is going to be better. That's how we looked at it, and that's why I made the decision to vote this way. But I'm still not going to endorse him. I still can't defend those comments. But we all have to make a choice, and that's a choice that my wife and I made.
Congressman Jason Chaffetz, it's great to see you.
Thank you.
Joining us now to respond, Richard Socarides. He's a former White House senior advisor to President Bill Clinton. Great to see you, Richard. So
good to see you,
Megyn.
Megyn.
It's been amazing.
Thanks for having me.
Sure, you bet. Picking up on where I left off with the congressman, we saw Donald Trump's poll numbers collapse when the whole, Access Hollywood and the attacking Alicia Machado and all that stuff with the women came out in the beginning of October. And then her numbers started to collapse when the FBI thing came out. And you tell me, Richard, whether the Democrats are genuinely enthused by Hillary Clinton or whether they are holding their nose and voting for her, and maybe not even that at this point.
Well, let me say this. First of all, I think that I've always said, and I think many of us who follow these things have always believed, that this will be a close election. The country is closely divided. Presidential elections are very important, and they are traditionally very close. So I am not surprised that the election is getting closer as we get closer to the voting. I still think that Hillary will win. I definitely believe she will win. I think it will be, a 2 or 3 point win, but I definitely think she's ahead. I think she is in a much better place to carry the election than he is right now. Now, I think many Democrats are very enthusiastic about her and about her positions, and I think that if you care deeply about making America a better and a fairer place for everybody, Democrats, those are what Democrats care about, and that is what draws people to her.
But what about the fact that they also don't want someone who's in trouble with the law getting in there? And you've got these FBI agents coming out and saying, I've never seen the FBI leak like this, saying we are investigating this woman on 2 tracks.
I completely agree with you. I think that the politicization of the FBI in this particular instance is disgraceful, and I think that when this is all done, and luckily we only have 4 or 5 days to go, I think we will have to take a look at what happened here.
What did the FBI do? The FBI disgraced itself?
Because Megyn, I mean, the reporting on this is clear.
They're trying to investigate potential crimes. That's what they do.
The reporting on this is clear. There is no FBI investigation of the Clinton Foundation. ABC News reported that this afternoon. We cannot even agree on a basic fact as this.
We have conflicting information on that, Richard.
Well, Megyn,
we have conflicting information on that. We have at least 2 sources in the FBI
we definitely
saying
have conflicting.
Well, listen, let me just make clear. You may be trying to draw a line between inquiry and investigation. There absolutely was an inquiry that began, and it may or may not have turned into an investigation.
Well, it is not an investigation.
Our
Clearly,
information,
the Justice
according to these
Department,
FBI sources, is that it has progressed.
But Megyn, the Justice Department sources tell ABC News this afternoon that there is no investigation of the Clinton Foundation. Now, this thing on the emails, we don't know what.
Cherry pick the reports, Richard, and completely disregard the FBI agents who are saying there is.
Megyn,
but
you just said that we have conflicting reports. I will agree.
And you're just dismissing half of them.
I'm not dismissing any of them. I'm saying that on the one side you have some unidentified FBI agents leaking to some reporters that there may be some kind of investigation, but that the Justice Department sources and senior Justice Department sources and senior FBI sources have said there is no investigation ongoing. So, yes, I agree. I'm not disputing what you say. I agree with you. I think it's disgraceful that we have people on both sides leaking information and we have no idea what the truth is.
All right, you got to leave it at that, Richard.
Thank you, Megyn.
Good to see you. So, former FBI Assistant Director James Kallstrom was on this broadcast 2 nights ago defending the agents who are pushing to dig deeper into the Clinton Foundation. And he's been taking heat after standing up for those agents. Mr. Kallstrom is next on what's happened to him since then.
The FBI getting a black eye is not the agents. It's not the guys that work there and the girls that work there and the ladies that work there. It's the people that run the organization, for whatever reason, did what they did.
Well, that was James Kallstrom on this broadcast 2 nights ago. He's the former assistant director in charge at the FBI, and he was defending the agents who are reportedly pushing to dig deeper into whether there's any evidence of corruption at the Clinton Foundation. Since then, Mr. Kallstrom has taken some heat for those remarks, and he's back with us tonight on that and all we've learned about this story in the last few days. Great to see you, Jim. Thanks for being back.
Nice to be here.
So the Daily Beast is suggesting that you walked that back, that you haven't really been in touch with the agents investigating Hillary Clinton's email scandal, and that you are something less than an accurate spokesperson for these disgruntled FBI agents.
Well, they can write what they want. I never did claim I talked to the actual agents. I would never do that. I would never call up people that were investigating something and even put them on the spot. I wouldn't do that. But I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of people in the FBI, mostly retired people, and some people that are currently on the job that are not directly involved, but you know, it's a small organization. You know, they know what's going on. And the agents are furious, and I haven't walked anything back. I didn't walk anything up that deserved to be walked back. So I don't know what they're talking about.
Been no walking.
No, no walking.
Let me pick up where Richard Socarides left off. There's a distinction between an inquiry and an investigation, right? And so you tell me whether there is in fact an inquiry underway and that the FBI agents who have been wanting to pursue it would like it to graduate into something more serious.
Yeah. Well, what I'm told by people that